Okay, we're ready to get started. Thank you everyone for making it to this session Friday morning. I wasn't sure if anybody would be alive after last night, but you made it through the week, and you're here. So thank you so much for coming and for supporting Planner. I see a lot of familiar faces that have stopped by the booth and been at previous sessions. So I hope that this session can provide some new stuff and a refresher for all of our Planner veterans out there. I'm Joanna Parkhurst. I'm a program manager on Planner, and I work with project and teams and to-do a lot as well. And I'm also Planner's #1 fan. We don't have a competition for it technically, but if we did, I would be the winner. So if anybody wants to test that out, we can have a competition afterwards, and I'm not afraid to prove myself. So today we're going to be talking about our existing integrations first. So if you're new to Planner, it'll be kind of a crash course in everything that you can do with Planner to fully utilize it within your different Microsoft tools. And if you're a Planner veteran, it'll be just a refresher in case you have forgotten about anything. And then we'll be talking a lot about all of the task goodness at Microsoft that we've been talking about all week, and especially where Planner fits into all of this. So there's lots of newness and lots of things are changing, and so we just want to talk about how Planner connects to everything else in the ecosystem and what these first steps that we're taking and that we've announced this week are towards making it come to life and bringing these coherent values and pillars that we've been talking about for a long time to reality. And then we'll finish with what our approach is moving forward. If you have been a part of any of the presentations, you might see some things again, but we're really excited, so we're just going to show you again and kind of how Planner has played a role in making steps towards task bliss with Microsoft tools. So starting with Planner, the Planner product actually grew out of the project organization, and we're all still in the same organization and engineering team today because projects saw a need for everyday office workers to also be able to manage tasks, organize tasks visually, get some basic charts and reports, and share those tasks and plans with their coworkers. And so the tenets that we kind of have stuck with from its inception to today and looking forward are to be simple and organized so that you can come into Planner, organize your tasks, add details, and end up feeling more calm and in control, and that you have everything figured out, and now you just have to do the actual work. And then familiar collaborative teaming. So especially with our partnership and integration in Teams, we want to make all of the information and content and messages and conversations that you're working in really close to Planner and make sure that it fits in with how you're doing your work. And last, having the visual status of Planner boards be really easy to quickly organize, and we're working on new ways to make that even faster and even more visual, and so we'll talk about that today as well. And of course, everything is platformed on the Microsoft Cloud, so a lot of this goodness is a part of the larger vision, and if you are a enterprise, EDU, nonprofit, F1, and I might be forgetting one user of Office, you already have Planner. So we really encourage you, if you haven't tried it, if there's anybody in this room who hasn't tried Planner yet with your team, give it a try. It's really easy to just hop in and start messing around and organizing your tasks within a few minutes. So since we wanted to dive a little bit deeper during today's session, a common question that we get at our booths and on customer calls and just throughout the year is how do I really use Planner? We get this from our veterans, we get this from people who have just picked it up who sometimes feel like there's a secret or like a perfect methodology. And the answer is there's not one way to use Planner. There's not one exact way to organize your tasks to maximize it. It just depends on what you want and need from your team. But today I wanted to share a never before seen, except by everybody I work with, view of how I manage my tasks in Planner. So after 2.5 years on the team, almost 2.5 years, I have come up with my method every time I start working with a new team, or if I'm starting a new initiative, or we're having a new stand-up. This is how I set up my Planner plan and how I keep track of all of the multiple plans and multiple tasks that are happening at once. So let's switch over to my computer. Oh, wrong one. There we go. Okay, so I've just entered Planner from tasks.office.com. You can also launch Planner from the waffle menu or the app launcher. And a quick tip is to go to the ellipses menu and click Pin to Launcher, so that every time you open up your app launcher, it's right there. And you can do that with Project and To Do as well. So I've landed in my Planner Hub. I can see all of the plans I'm a member of and my favorite plans with a quick overview. And so I'm going to create this template really quick, and then I'll have a slide afterwards with a summary of all the steps I'm going to follow. So if you want to follow this also, which you should, don't feel the need to write all of this down. So I'm just going to make this Joe's perfect plan. I can add it to an existing group, so I'll add it to, let's see, Joe loves tasks. I think that fits well. And I create my plan. So my first step is to set up my plan for success. So I want to make sure that I can capture tasks as things arise and that there's a place for everything to land, and then I can organize them from there. So I'm going to create a backlog bucket, and then I'm going to create my buckets to represent all of my top goals or initiatives. So if I'm working on a new feature, I might divide that into what my top metrics for releasing that feature are going to be, or I can kind of divide it into a sub-initiative among the plans. So I'm just going to number that and go initiative or goal, and then just repeat that. And the more you can order your buckets by priority, if I can spell oh, this is a hard one, initiative or goal, the more you can order them by importance, the easier it is to prioritize and organize them later on, as we'll see. So I have my bucket set up, and the second thing I'm going to do is set up my labels. So I have 6 labels already, and I'm going to use these to represent soft kind of phases of time. So I know a lot on our team, we have hard deadlines, and then we also want to kind of set dates for things, but as more of a goal. So every Monday morning, I sit down and I say, okay, I have a presentation on Friday, so I need to do this by Thursday or Friday morning. And then here's 3 things that I really want to finish this week. So that's how I kind of differentiate between things that have a hard deadline and then things that have more of a goal deadline. And so depending on what your project is, it can be this week, next week, it could be quarters, it could be years. So typically I work on a weekly basis, so I'm going to make this one as soon as possible, today, this week, next week. Oh gosh, there we go. Okay. Let's say eventually. And since we have 6, I'll just add just an idea. So something I want to record, but don't necessarily have an idea of when I want to finish it by. So I've set up my plan. Now, the next thing I want to do is capture tasks. So over the week or quarter, or as things are happening, or even during a meeting, as follow-up items are coming up during your conversations, just add all of those tasks to the backlog bucket. If there is one of those hard deadlines, or if there's a specific person that needs to do it, I'd recommend adding it then, so it makes it easier to organize your tasks later, but just put everything in here, and if you set up flows, for instance, if you want to set up a flow from a form submission or from a certain type of Outlook email, those can all just go into the backlog bucket so that you know that it needs to be organized and delegated. So I'm just going to go A, B, C, and let's say C has deadline of next Friday, D, E, F, G, H. Okay, so I have my backlog and I have my tasks. Everything that I do after this is focused on organizing things and checking on status and then understanding what's next. So I'm going to start by organizing my tasks. And this is when it gets a little tricky, and this is where the magic comes in. So if you only take away one thing from this, it is to use the group by options. So this can really help you make sure that you go through every important field in your tasks and add a field and organize it and get the overview. So we're going to start with group by bucket, take all of my tasks from my backlog, move it into each of these goals. I can also prioritize within these. So let's say this is, okay, so I've emptied my backlog, and next I want to go to group by assigned to. So in this case, I'm Frank, hey. So I'm going to make sure every task is assigned to someone so that every task has an owner. So let's add Brittany, assign and add, and then I can delegate to her as well. And then everything has an owner. Oh gosh, okay. And then I can group by label. So I have what initiative or goal it falls under, who's assigned to it, and then a goal of when we want it to be done by. So I'll just make sure that my uncategorized bucket or column is empty in this view as well. So in each of these group bys, I'm just emptying my leftmost column to make sure that everything has a place. So I've set up my plan, I've organized my tasks. What I'm going to do next is check in on the status of my plan. So I'm going to group by progress, and then I'm going to use filter to get a cross view of what's late, what's due soon. I can also, if I'm using priority to mark tasks as super urgent or important, I can add those as well. Whoa. And then I can use my labels as well. So basically, I want to add whatever filters I need to make sure that everything that is coming up soon, that's important, that needs to be done quickly, is in the completed section. And again, I'm emptying my not started column on the side when I cross-filter by this. And so this will give me a really great overview of the overall status of my plan. And then lastly, to understand what's next, this is my favorite part, we're going to go back to group by bucket, filter by label, and start at the topmost label. So this is ASAP. And then I know the order of things that I need to work in is from left to right, top to bottom. So in this case, this would be my next team's task, and I'd work my way down until this view is empty. And then I would just switch my filter to the next filter. So then I'm working in order of importance and by when I want to have them done by. And that is how I make sure everything is captured, organized. I can understand the status of a plan really quickly, and then I can create my to-do list for the week of what I need to do next. So that's my insider tip on how to use Planner, like the #1 Planner fan. So try it out. Let me know what you think. We can iterate on it together, but this is probably the best version, so we'll see about that. So some other quick things with our existing integrations that I can do with this. The best thing you can do with your plan to maximize its power and visibility is to add it to Teams. So I'm going to go to Joe Loves Tasks, the team that I've associated my plan with. So When I first added it, I added it to Joe Loves Tasks group. I can go to my general channel or any of my channels, click Add Tab up here, open Planner, and then I can either create a new plan, or in this case, I'm going to choose my, oh, I did a practice one before, so there's a lot happening. Yeah, and so this will make sure that my tasks are right next to my conversations. Oh, this is my old one. Let's try this one more time. So my tasks are right next to my conversations. Everybody on my team knows where to find this plan, and you don't have to jump back and forth in between Planner and Teams. You can just do it all in one place. The second tip is to add it to your SharePoint site. So if I go to my plan and open up Sites, it'll open up the SharePoint site associated with this group and plan. And then I can either add a SharePoint web part, so I can add the full board, one of the charts, and those are fully interactive, so I can just come to the SharePoint site, make changes, add tasks, move on with my day, feel calm and in control. And then I can also add it as a full page app. So I go to New, click Plan. I can add a new plan, and in this case, I'm going to add, oh man, which one is it? Okay, my perfect plan, so that I can make sure everyone that comes to my SharePoint site can see the best practices for how to use Planner. I can share this out even more easily if my team works heavily in SharePoint. So kind of putting your plans wherever your team is working most. And then the last one, and this is an example of using the web part. And so these are different plans that I have in my group associated with the SharePoint site. And so I can get a really quick overview by just adding the status chart to my home page. So I can see everything that's happening in my beta program launch. Okay, so I'm going to switch back to the slides. All right, so here's my summary of my perfect plan. And like I said, this is just my recommendation. This is what I found what works. But please play with Planner yourself. There's always a great way to use the group bys, use the filters. You don't have to make it complicated. But for ongoing plans, for weekly syncs, for things where you're going to be continuously adding things and wanting to make sure nothing gets lost, just set up a couple steps process of how you're going to come in and check on those tasks, whether it's during your weekly sync, whether it's when you sit down to organize your tasks at the beginning of the week. Just have a couple steps, go through your plan, assign everything out, prosper. All right. So what else can I do with Planner? We showed the Teams and SharePoint integrations. You can also download your Planner data to Excel. So if you want to kind of archive your plan at a certain moment in time, if you want to print out your tasks and have it on a clipboard in your main area, or if you want to do more complex reporting and analysis of your tasks, export to Excel is a really great way to do that. You can just go into your plan in Planner for the web, go to the ellipses menu and click Export to Excel, and it'll start downloading in your browser immediately. You can also set up flows. I mentioned earlier, you can create a form, have the submissions create a task. You can have certain types of Outlook emails create a task. And so there's lots of different triggers in the flow options, or I should say automate, Power Automate now, in the options that you can set as a trigger. And then Planner is a connection you can add so that tasks are created of a certain name. You can decide what bucket it goes in, and so forth. And then one of the most powerful things that you can do with Planner, if you need a custom solution, if you want to build something for your team that uses tasks, but want to make sure that these tasks you're creating aren't lost in the ecosystem, use the Planner use Planner via Microsoft Graph. You can create, edit, and retrieve task and plan information. So if you want to do real-time dashboarding and reporting, this is a great way to do that. You can also, like I said, build on top of it. And Brian Smith did a great job of using Flow to create a task for every new message in the O365 Admin Center that's relevant. So if you want to use that as a way to learn how to use Flow with Planner and keep on top of your Message Center posts, he has a blog post on how to do that in the Planner Tech Community blog. And I wanted to share an example of another team at Microsoft that is working on their own technology and wanted to build with Planner using the Microsoft Graph to build a more complex application of Planner while still having the power of Planner in the background. So this is Azure Anchor Points. So I can use AR to find a precise location with my phone or HoloLens device. I can set that anchor point, and in this prototype, they were able to create a Planner task associated with that anchor point. So if I'm at a construction site, I can go around, find areas that I want to assign or create tasks to, and then use Planner to do things like assign out those tasks, see progress, check in, comment, everything that you can do in Planner. And this is just a really cool application of this and a really cool exploration that they were able to do. So we talked about Planner's power, some of our existing integrations, cool stuff you can do with Planner, but where does this fit into the M365 ecosystem? So we've been showing this slide a lot this week. I've seen it all over LinkedIn and Twitter, and this doesn't even encompass everything that we are currently working on and we're planning to do. But the idea here is that we want to make sure that there are lots of places where you're working that you can create and capture tasks, and that all of those tasks will flow into To-Do and Planner, and then you can see those in teams. So a great example of this is, I'm waiting for the phones to finish taking pictures. Okay. A great example of this is tasks in Word, Excel, and PowerPoint Office documents. So we have the ability to create comments by highlighting text or content in the document. Once you @mention someone, a box underneath will appear and ask, do you want to assign a task to this person that you're @mentioning? And then you can create a list of tasks in your document. And our vision is that after shipping, creating tasks in a document, we will then move forward like we have in other areas and make sure that those tasks flow through our ecosystem and end up in Planner and all of Planner's integrations so that you can use documents as another place to capture tasks and make sure nothing gets lost. And if you want more information on this in particular, Monica did a theater session on Tuesday. So go back and watch that recording. I think there's a recording, or the deck is shared out on the Ignite portal of what this looks like. And this is a really exciting cross-team, cross-office project. So we're really happy about this. So across all of these capturing endpoints, places where you want to do your work, everything is going to be flowing into To-Do and Planner, which are the two main endpoints for all of your tasks. And the next question that we get after showing this is, okay, great, I have two apps for tasks. When do I use which? So to give some clarity, To-Do is a really great app for individual tasks. Because it's built on your Outlook personal mailbox, you can do things like share your list with a couple other people. You can create lists to not just be task lists, but collections of things like movies I want to watch, articles I want to read, things I want to learn. And then Planner is a continuation of that experience within that's platformed by Office 365 groups. So it makes it really easy to add other team members to your plan, assign out those, and know that they have access and all of the security and permissions that go with Office 365 group. So Planner gives the visual board view, a lot of fast task organization, and it is a match made in heaven with Teams. And then To Do is my personal view of everything I'm accountable for. I can add lists for myself, I can flag emails, I can see all of my Outlook task lists that I may have already created in the modern To Do experience. And so, earlier this year, we wanted to bridge the gap between these even further. So we released our To Do integration with Planner. And so I'm going to show that next. My computer keeps on falling asleep every time I walk away. OK. So I can open up To Do in my mobile apps, in the web, or the desktop app. And if you're not seeing the Assigned to Me list and your Planner tasks flowing into here, and you do have Planner tasks, a good way to check on that is to go to your settings, To Do settings, and you'll find under the Connections area a Planner toggle here. So make sure that's on, and then all of your Planner data will start, not all of your Planner data, but your Planner tasks that are assigned to you will start flowing through To Do. So because Planner tasks are added to your To Do task database, you can do things like search in To Do for tasks. All of your tasks will show up in To Do's smart lists. And a really cool feature is that in My Day, which is To Do's way of choosing tasks from across all of your lists to focus in on for the day, you can find suggestions underneath the Today light bulb. And Planner tasks will be included in these suggestions. So this is a great way that we're starting to use intelligence to recognize tasks that have upcoming due dates that might be associated with important work across your emails, across your Planner plans, across tasks that you've created for yourself in To Do, to recommend that you get started with those today. So another great way to feel like nothing's going to fall in between the cracks and get left behind. And so looking closer at my Assigned to Me list, I have my perfect plan tasks that I assigned to myself. And I can click on any of these tasks to open details. Here, let's do one that has more stuff in it. Yeah, and I can see my checklist items surface under steps. Due date will also show, notes will also show. I can also see these reflected. Let's see if I go to H, write a note. Hi, it's me. I can see this. Oh, gotta unfilter. I can see this. It'll show up soon. I can see this reflected in Planner really quickly, and all of my information will flow and be updated between these two areas. And Planned is another smart list that your Planner tasks that are assigned to you and also have a due date will show up under. So you can use this to get a look ahead at your next week, at today's tasks. And we are also working on getting the Planner importance field into To Do as well, so that those tasks that are marked as important in Planner will then show up in your important list in To Do as well, if you have the connection enabled. So To Do this has been a lot of goodness. We've gotten a lot of really great feedback on this integration, and we're really happy that this was a great first step for us as a group of teams. And so to summarize, Assigned to Me is where you're going to find most of your tasks, and you can do everything that you can do in To Do to your Planner tasks there. They'll also show up in Planned. We're working on importance, and My Day is a great way to really focus in on all of your Planner tasks. So we also wanted to answer the next inevitable question that we got after releasing the To Do integration of, OK, great, I have two apps. They're connected, but I still have to switch between the two. I have to have To Do and Planner open pretty much all day in order to flip in between them easily. So we found that the Teams team was also getting similar feedback. And so what we did was we basically moved our Planner planning Planner plan to the Teams team. And we started to collaborate on what this next set of work looks like and making sure that these experiences feel connected and are in the same place for you where you work. So here's a little video that explains our motivation behind what we announced earlier.
You have a lot of things to do
this week.
And your tasks are scattered all over the place. You have messages in Teams or Outlook that you need to respond to, and follow-ups for yourself in To-Do, OneNote, and Cortana. Meanwhile, your colleagues have assigned tasks to you in Planner, Office documents, and other tools that they're working in. Keeping track of all your tasks can feel like a task itself. Wouldn't it be great if you could see all your tasks together in one place? Now you can in Microsoft Teams. Tasks in Teams combines the best of To-Do and Planner into one view, where you can create and manage all your personal and team responsibilities. The personal task list, powered by To-Do, is a running list of your tasks that no one else can see, like this reminder to submit an expense report. Your team lists, powered by Planner, show all the tasks that your team is working on together. You can manage large amounts of tasks in the new list view, or in other powerful Planner views like boards, charts, and schedule. The Assign to You Smart List helps you keep track of what others need from you. And the Planned and Important Smart Lists combine your personal to-dos along with the tasks that you've been assigned, allowing you to manage all of your responsibilities, order by due date, or filter to ones marked important. Thanks to Tasks in Teams, figuring out what to do next is one less task you have to worry about.
Great. So the first time I saw that video, it was very beautiful. It was a wonderful moment to see all of this hard work and years and years of planning and vision sharing come to life. And this app is a great example of cross-team, cross-org, cross-time zone collaboration, and part of how we did that was with Planner and Teams. So I'm going to switch over and show you what this looks like in the Teams app. So this is my Tasks app. If it's not pinned to your app launcher on the side here, you can find it in your app menu. And like the video showed, up top here in my navigation pane, I have my lists from To-Do. And then below, I have all of the Planner plans I'm a member of that are connected to my teams. So I can find my perfect plan here. I can quickly switch in between these plans and see these tasks really quickly. And so with the Tasks app, we're introducing a new view, which is the list view. The list view has been a combination of Planner feedback we've received and then learnings from To-Do having a list and Project having a grid view. So we wanted to create something that was a little bit more powerful, but also really simple and compact so that it feels very organized and not chaotic. And so with this list view, you can see more task information at once. You can also sort all up by any of these columns. So if you want to see all of your tasks by assignee or due date, you can do that. And this has been a very popular ask for Planner sorting. And then you can quickly add tasks. You can open up task details from here, and you can also select tasks and see a command bar up top. You can even multi-select and do bulk actions with those same commands. So we're just making it, like I mentioned earlier, faster and easier to organize your tasks in Planner. And in addition to the list view, all of the current functionality of Planner and Teams is still going to exist. You can still have your board chart schedule view, and you can still add Planner plans to your Teams channels. And we are planning on adding a list view to Planner natively after we launch this. And we'll be looking for feedback on the Tasks app to help us fine-tune what this experience looks and feels like. So after we release, please send us lots of feedback. This is a lot of newness, so we'll be relying on you all heavily to help us figure out what our next step should be. So in addition to the list view, I'm just going to click through board chart schedule, and the planner app itself in Teams isn't going away, but we are going to be renaming it as tasks just within Teams so that we can make sure that the tasks experience can start to encompass more tasks and apps, and that you still get the same planner functionality plus more goodness from to-do and hopefully other more task sources in the future. So I'm going to switch back to my slides. And this is a summary again of the tasks in Microsoft Teams app and tab. Both, like I mentioned, are identical to existing to-do functionality and existing planner functionality, but we're bringing it all in Teams and we're adding some combined new features that make sense here. Tasks sync automatically between to-do and planner, and you can use the new list view. So the next question that we get, especially with all of the news around the new project for the web, is how does this fit with Planner? So we talked about to-do, we talked about Teams, and now we want to touch on project. So project is in our same organization, we have the same leadership, and what they've done is now taken inspiration from some of the technologies that we've used to create Planner and the success that we've had by making it accessible in Teams, by having it be very shareable and collaborative, and has created a new project for the web. And so Project for the Web is a completely reimagined user experience for Microsoft Project, and it's built to be collaborative. You can work with lots of people at the same time and not worry about having to check out a project, organize your timelines, and worry about somebody going on vacation and leaving your project locked. Because the Project for the Web is replatformed on Dynamics and the Power Platform, there's a lot of goodness that you get with that for free, including AI-powered insights with the Power BI and AI Builder model. And we've seen a lot of cool uses of the Power App platform with Project already. And all of your, just like how all of your planner task information is accessible through the graph, all of your project information is going to be accessible through CDS. And as you notice, there's a board view. Oh, the GIF just went past it. But there's a board view in Project as well, which is literally the planner board in Project. And our engineering team worked on both. And what we wanted to do is basically make sure that Project is a superset of all of your planner functionality, so that when you're ready for more complex traditional project management functionality, like scheduling engine, resource planning, dependencies, a timeline / Gantt view, you can move your plan into Project and start working with it there. So, oh yeah, there's the board. I'm so proud. It's great. OK. Oh, great. And so, like I mentioned, we want to enable users to move your plan into Project once you find yourself needing a bit more power to organize your tasks and manage your plan. So this is an early demo of what we're working on now, which is the ability to create a new project from a planner plan. So you can choose what plan you want to upload. And we want to supply some options so that you can filter down all of your planner tasks. So if you've been using your planner plan for a while, like if you've used my methodology and you love using it, but you find yourself needing a Gantt chart, for instance, you can move it over, see all of your planner tasks in the grid, not lose any of your task fields or information, and start adding more columns and working with it in Project. So really cool new application. Please check out Project for the Web if you haven't already, and there's some great sessions that happened earlier this week that you can watch the recording for if you want a deep dive into this experience. And so to summarize what we've talked about today, our vision moving forward for creating more task experiences and improving our existing experiences in Microsoft is going to be focusing on coherence, intelligence, and integration. So the slide with all of the apps and arrows and dotted lines, that's kind of where our integration focus comes from. Our intelligence comes from trying to find new ways to utilize things like My Day suggested tasks, the heads-up mail that identifies new tasks from your messages and documents, and the document tasks. And then focusing on coherence. So for us, coherence means making sure that tasks across all of these endpoints have a consistent feel. When you're opening a task, you can find information in the same places, and you're not having to relearn how to open, manage, use, edit tasks in all of these different places. So this has been a fun project to work on, and we have made some small steps towards making everything look more similar. There will be some inevitable differences because of the unique product differences, like project, for example, will continue to have more fields. But we've done some small things like add the circle for completing your task to the left of all of your task names. We've changed our field from description to notes so that it's notes everywhere. And then we're going to start working on things like making sure a late task has the same style treatment in all of these places so that you can jump in and quickly identify what tasks are late and not have to visually sort through those. So we're making steps, we're making small changes, and this is probably one of my favorite things to work on with all of the designers. And we do have kind of a North Star design exploration of Planner starting to look and feel more like still its own product, but very similar to Project, very similar to Do, so that you can move in between them really easily and not feel like there's a big difference or anything new to learn. So this is another fun video that our designers made of our vision and our North Star for our amazing mobile app. We want to do a lot of things like move labels onto the card so they're more easy to read and identify. And so we have a lot of ideas here, and we've been working closely with To Do and Project and Teams and all of these designers to bring it to life. And so last, I wanted to show our favorite video of the week next to the Teams tasks video that our design team has created. If you've been to a Planner or Project or Teams session, you might have seen this already, but we're going to show you it again because I love it so much. This is how we are visualizing tasks in our ecosystem moving forward. Great, so that wraps up everything that I have today. It looks like we're right at 44 minutes, but I'll be here afterwards for any specific questions about anything I've shown today. Like I said, if you want more details, we have lots of session recordings from the week. Go check out Project for the Web and keep an eye out for tasks and teams. Thanks.